Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stu here from Spain Speaks with an update video today. We'll go through some of the main newspapers as we have been doing in recent times and see what is happening around the country today. We'll have a look at El Mundo, El País, RTV, the state broadcaster, El Confidencial. Then at the end of the video, we will again go through the comment section and see what is happening there, as there was a fair bit of debate on yesterday's video. So we'll check out some of those comments. Now we'll get straight into the news, and the former king Juan Carlos is dominating headlines again today. He is in the press again for all the wrong reasons, and again he has problems with the tax department here in Spain, but we'll have a look at that in just a moment. So we'll get straight into the news. We'll go to El Mundo, and the first article El Mundo is going with here on the left is about the judiciary here in Spain. Gobierno y PP rompen las negociaciones para renovar el poder judicial por los vetos cruzados. So the government and the main opposition party, the PP, have broken negotiations to renew the judiciary due to crossed vetoes. Now this is a problem that has been going on for a fair while in the country. They just can't seem to come to an agreement, the different political parties, on who the members of the General Council of the judiciary should be in this country. The political makeup of the country at the moment makes it very, very difficult. Podemos can't agree with the PP can't agree with the PSOE party, so it's very, very complicated to renew this judicial board. Now we'll go back into the news and click on this article here and the curfew in Madrid. We'll see what they're going on about here. And as we can see, Madrid mantiene el toque de queda y cierre de los bares a las 11 de la noche durante otras 2 semanas. So the Madrid government has decided to leave the curfew and the closing of bars and restaurants at 11 p.m. for another 2 weeks. And to be honest, I don't know what they're going to do in 2 weeks' time, but the most likely thing is that they're going to push the curfew back to perhaps 12 midnight or maybe even later. I'm not sure, because as we know, as the weather starts to get better, people like to go out, enjoy themselves, and Madrid is one of those places here in Spain where nightlife is fundamental to the economy. So I wouldn't be surprised that in 2 weeks' time Madrid pushes that curfew back even further. Now we'll go back into the news because there's another article here about restrictions in Andalusia, so we'll click on that one. And it is that Andalusia has decided to extend their restrictions until March the 5th. And if I'm not mistaken, things down in Andalusia are fairly strict compared to a place like Madrid. I think that all non-essential services have to shut down at 6 p.m, so that means bars and restaurants. I could be mistaken on that, but I'm sure somebody will let me know. The curfew down there, I think, is at 10 p.m. In Madrid, it's 11 p.m, so we have an extra hour of freedom to be out and about here in Madrid. And Andalusia also has a lot more restrictions when it comes to mobility. I'm not sure whether they still have perimeter confinements down there according to municipalities or whether it's just between regions, but still very, very difficult to enter and leave Andalusia at the moment unless you have a very good reason to do so. So you can sort of get an idea of how Spain is working at the moment with their 17 autonomous communities and their 17 different sets of rules and regulations. What happens in Andalusia is not the same as what happens in Madrid, and places like Aragon, for example, also have restriction of movement between provinces there. So somebody in the Huesca province can't travel to Zaragoza, which is devastating for a lot of families because there are a lot of people that live in Huesca that have family in Zaragoza and they haven't been able to visit them for something like 2 months now, I believe. Now we'll leave El Mundo and we'll go to El País, see what is happening there. And we can see the main article here about the former King Juan Carlos I. And the headline is Juan Carlos I paga más de 4 millones al fisco en una segunda regularización. So the former King Juan Carlos has decided to pay up more than 4 million to the tax department in a second attempt to get his finances in order. And this is all because of some 8 million euros that he received in payments over numerous years. So 8 million euros in payments, what type of payments are we talking about here? Are we talking about commissions? Are we talking about payments from friends? Are we talking about payments because he brokered business deals? Who knows what those payments were? But of course the tax department takes 50% of that, so 4 million euros to them. So the problems for the royal family continue, especially when it comes to the dodgy business deals of the former king. Now we'll scroll up a little bit because there's an article here about the vaccines here in Spain, so we'll click on that one. And the headline reads, "Organisational problems prevent the administration of all the vaccines that arrive in the country." The plan to immunise essential workers and those over the age of 80 has started with complications because of the appointment system, and that is hindering the process. Only 75% of the vaccines that were received last week were given. So some more problems there when it comes to the vaccination plan here in Spain. Problems with the appointment system causing setbacks, and 25% of the available vaccines not being given. So let's hope it can get back on track ASAP. Now we'll leave El País, go to El Confidencial, scroll up past the ad for face masks and have a look at the health data. And we can see that Madrid's still sticking out there in the middle of the country in the dark blue colour because they have the highest incidence rate in the country at the moment with more than 300 cases per 100,000 inhabitants. We'll click on Murcia because Murcia seems to be getting the health situation under control, now down to 121. Andalusia, 217, probably why the restrictions are being kept in place for another week or so. Catalonia now with an incidence rate down to 219. And we'll check out Madrid and see what the situation is there, 321. So the highest numbers in Spain at the moment coming from Madrid. Now we'll scroll up and have a look at this article here that caught my attention about unemployment benefits. And we'll click on it and see what it's about. And the headline reads, Vivir con 826 euros al mes, los parados cobran hoy menos que en 2010. So living on 826 euros a month, unemployed people in Spain earn less today than in 2010. So the unemployment benefit here in Spain for many, 826 euros a month, 13% less in real terms than 10 years ago. And that just goes to show you where we are at in this country at the moment. How is it possible that an unemployed person gets less money today than a decade ago? I don't know the answer to the question. If you do, please let me know in the comment section below. And the quantity, 826 euros, very, very difficult to live in this country with that amount of money at the moment, especially if you're living in one of the big cities like Madrid or Barcelona. And to be honest, I don't know how people do it. And things aren't looking good when it comes to trying to find a job either, as we know that unemployment rate creeps up and up and up on a monthly basis. Now we'll leave El Confidencial, go to RTVE, see what is happening there. We'll scroll up and we can see a picture of the former king. I think he's in Abu Dhabi currently. He's not back in the country, but I think he's trying to clear all his debts with the tax department so he can come back. And we'll scroll up and have a look at this article here about how the autonomous communities around the country are slowly opening up, given that the incidence rate has come down in recent times. We'll click on that one and have a look at the headline. And we can see the headline, several autonomous communities have opened their hospitality industries and have expanded mobility due to the fall in the incidence rate. So hopefully these two things here in Spain will be able to coexist, the pandemic and the hospitality industry, because they haven't been able to do so up until now. So interesting to again see the incidence rate around the country dropping, places opening up again, places in Castilla y León, Aragon, for example, Navarra opening up their bars and restaurants again. So let's see if we can avoid making the same mistakes that we made the last time when everything had to be shut down because of people socializing too much, apparently. Now we'll leave the news there and go into the comment section, see what is happening there. And we'll have a look at this one here from Holland Crooks. Hey Stu, great informative content as usual. Is this an example of Spanish humor? Our cafe bar in Moreda, Valencia has been ordered to close this last 6 weeks, but today they have taken the Autonomos payment from the account. Keep up the good work, Cobba. Yeah, Holland, thanks for the comment, and unfortunately it is a laughable situation, but I wouldn't exactly call it comedy, having to close your place down for 6 weeks and then getting charged your autonomos as if nothing had happened. I suppose this is one of the problems that we have in this country, that something like the autonomos is controlled by the central government and your bar and restaurant is controlled by the Valencian community, and maybe there's no coordination between the two. I don't know, but a good idea would be to speak to your gestor and see if they can work that out and try to get some type of refund, because obviously if you've got no income coming in, why do you have to pay your autonomos? Seems a bit strange, but I have heard numerous stories similar to yours over the last few months, unfortunately. So let's hope that things start to open up a little bit and you guys can get back to work and open your cafe bar up again. We'll have a look at this one here from Margaret. I sure hope that as the powers that be think about opening up the country to travel and tourism, they're thinking too about the fact that vaccinated people may still spread the virus to unvaccinated people. Given the very lengthy amount of time it will take to get a preponderance of people vaccinated, I don't see how allowing a lot of travel anytime soon makes any sense. Yeah, Margaret, thanks for the comment, and judging from what I have seen in the comment section in recent times, a lot of people thinking along the same lines as you, that it doesn't really make much sense to open up the country to tourism anytime soon. But as we know, there are a lot of places in Spain that depend on tourism. For example, if you go to the islands here in Spain, the Balearics or the Canary Islands, Andalusia, as I mentioned yesterday, Benidorm as well. These are places that depend on tourism, and I'm sure that there are very strong lobbies or interest groups continually pressuring the government to open up for tourism. We saw the other day in the UK how bookings for foreign holidays went through the roof as soon as Boris Johnson announced that the country was opening up again. I think he said May the 17th. So there are a lot of people looking for a foreign holiday this year, coming to places like Spain. Is it a good idea? I don't know. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. On that note, I'll start to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in that section below. Debate the situation out. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Hasta mañana.